trying to kind of pick out what is a big movement and what isn't a big movement. And I think that is challenging. I think we all find that challenging.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there anything you've kind of learnt from the students, I guess, whilst being here so far?
Yeah, I mean, the controversy around the Boots advert. I think, I think that there are constantly things that I'm learning from students, definitely. And that's why it's so lovely to be, with young people and talking about things. It's fascinating what people are interested in. Loads of people are really interested in American politics, but really not very interested in British politics, which I find quite interesting. I mean, obviously it's a kind of circus over there, so it is interesting. But, actually, as it affects our day-to-day life so much less, I find that kind of quite fascinating. Everyone really likes Stacey Dooley, is what I've really worked out. She's the woman of the moment, which is great. I mean, she's a great. She's a really fascinating woman, isn't she? And she's done really well. But
it's great to see women in the media being applauded.
Yes,
for their efforts.
exactly.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's so important. For doing the right thing. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
So last week our guest Leon mentioned curiosity being such an important skill for working in the media. Is there any other skill that you think is essential to develop, especially during university?
Yeah, to be tenacious. Yeah, I was thinking about this because I did look. Yeah, I think tenacity. Certainly, if you want to go into journalism, but I'm sure in every kind of media role, it's about thinking of ways to get to the end of, if you want to speak to someone, how are you going to speak to them? What connections, working with your connections, just thinking about how you get from beginning to end, and not giving up at the first hurdle as well. So say you want to get to B, you need to speak to this person, think of all the ways around them, and be tenacious and don't take no for an answer, really, would be my advice.
Yeah, with the recent re-election of Donald Trump as well, there's been a lot of controversial opinions about that. So how do you think will we see a significant change in the political and media landscape, do you think?
Well, I think it's been such a fascinating election, mainly because I think that, the so-called kind of legacy media, how Donald Trump shunned them fairly significantly and managed to create and get his message across, but going through completely different platforms, obviously hugely successfully as well. So I think it will have huge repercussions for journalism, for the media. I just not quite sure how, and it makes me feel really uncomfortable because I find it kind of concerning. We spend our whole time trying to work out what is true, and when truth no longer seems to be no longer seems to be valuable, it's like, well, it no longer seems to be the thing. How can journalists who are always looking for truth work out what to do next? So when truth doesn't seem to be important anymore, and certainly doesn't seem, most of what Donald Trump says is just made up, so it's really, really challenging, and I just don't know where it's going to go, and I can't really see it. I can only hope that everyone just wakes up and realises this is not a sensible route to be taking.
Do you think it'll affect journalists over in the UK or globally in any way as well as in America?
I think in the short term, possibly not, no. But I think everyone is looking now for different ways to reach audiences. I think we're lucky enough, I suppose, to have a certain amount of public money that we put into our kind of institutions. But I suppose if advertising revenue kind of goes elsewhere, if you if you get big podcasts where the advertisers are going to put their money over to them instead, then maybe. But I don't really see that happening. I see the most popular podcasts are actually ones that are really have really high integrity in this country. Things like The Rest Is Politics, and I think that's the one of the biggest in the country, as well as some of the sports ones. So at the moment, I don't think so, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. So Emma, thank you for joining us today.
It's been a great
pleasure.
pleasure.
Sharing your journey. Last question: do you have any advice for any students looking for postgraduate roles?
Yeah, I think, you know, just kind of keep on going at it, really. And I think that you can come out of university and there's a lot of competition out there, and I think you just need to, you know, not give up and remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if something doesn't happen in the first year, don't give up on your dream. You know, you've got your whole life ahead of you to make things happen.
Well, that's all that we've got time for in today's episode of Future Focus. A huge thank you to Emma Woods for joining us and giving us such a deep dive into the career and the media world.
Thank you for watching Future Focus, the show where we take a deep dive into the journeys of industry professionals to uncover how they got to where they are today and what they learned along the way. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. As for upcoming guests and future projects, be sure to keep an eye on our Instagram, Future Focus Show, for all the latest updates. Thanks again for watching and stay focused on what's next.